bringing Colombia to the world. This is RCN News in English. Reporting from our studios in Bogota, here's Samara Garcia.
Hello everyone and welcome to our news from Colombia. As you're going to see, lots of unusual things happen in Colombia. This time, a member of the Supreme Court and an important investigator in the Parapolitica and FARC political cases was robbed in his own home amid security measures. RCN News contributor Gary Parkasevich has the whole story. Gary.
Well, Samara, as it's always said, you should always back up your computer because you never know just when you might lose it. And in this case, it was that of a Supreme Court judge whose laptop was stolen after a break-in. And since this judge is also an important investigator in the parapolitical scandals, many are now questioning the security of the Supreme Court justices of this country.
In the early morning, 8 men drove 2 trucks marked with phony logos from the Bogota energy company Condensa. They arrived right to the house of Judge Augusto Ibanez in northern Bogota. The thieves were armed and tied up a police agent guarding the judge's home. They then broke into the apartment and stole the judge's laptop along with other electronic devices. I was told a robbery in my home was done by some armed men, and that there was also several physical damage in my next-door neighbors' homes. Ibanez is part of Colombia's Supreme Court and is currently investigating the Parapolitica, FARC Politica, and Yiddish Politica scandals. He also helped pass a law saying that all judges who suddenly resign from the court should first be investigated for any connections to these criminal organizations. And in that stolen laptop, Ibanez had all of the information from all of those cases. I'm confident, though, that I can recover almost everything.
Now, CTI investigators who are like the FBI here in Colombia have already found some traces as to the whereabouts of the thieves. However, it's not yet known whether they were particularly after the information inside the judge's laptop. Reporting for RCN News in English, I'm Gary Parkasevich. Back to you, Samara.
Thanks, Gary. The International Monetary Fund gave Colombia a very outstanding grade on its economic performance. During 12 days, members of the institution studied Colombia's monetary policy in a visit to our nation. They also confirmed what was already known, that due to the financial crisis, there will be small growth in the country's economy and that it will recuperate in 2010. Now let's take a quick look at some other national news. The Association of Milk Producers says their exports are going down after rejecting a proposal to contribute 30 pesos for each purchased liter of milk to the poor children of the country. Rainfall continues in many parts of Colombia. In Huila, a landslide cut off several other western towns in the department. 5 little towns were also flooded on the Atlantic coast. President Álvaro Uribe will start a 3-day visit to Mexico. Uribe will meet with Mexican President Felipe Calderón and with former President Vicente Fox. He will hold a conference on democratic security in the Political Studies Center in Guanajuato. The president will also join the Colombian community in the Federal District and later will dine at night with Colombia's Nobel Literature Prize winner Gabriel Garcia Marquez. The Constitutional Court says it's illegal to spy on our partners' email. Their mail is also considered useless as evidence to demonstrate infidelity and for filing for divorce. And many people in Pasto and Pereira have lost their savings after falling victim to 2 more pyramid schemes. Now the victims are demanding those responsible to give back the money. RCN News contributor Gary Parkasevich has more.
In Pereira, there are already 145 people who have lost all of their savings in a giant pyramid scheme. Aurelio Bolivar Paz, the owner, ran away and said that they had to close the business because of threats. JJ Cleans, the business that was offering the distribution of cleaning products, promised all of its investors profit gains between 100 and 200%. The guy has to come and explain to us what happened. We all had a meeting with him in Bogota, but he never showed his face. Meanwhile, in the city of Pasto, a supposed savings company was offering gains of 70% from investors. The investors also set up a meeting with the company's boss, but he didn't show up either. And so far, nothing is known of his whereabouts. I invested 20 million pesos, not losing hope in getting my money back. For RCN News in English, I'm Gary Parkasevich.
All of Colombia's attention these days is now in Cartagena, where our beauty contestants are going after the crown for Miss Colombia pageant. Here we bring you Miss Bogota, Miss Cauca, Miss Cundinamarca, and Miss Valle. Ladies and gentlemen, start your bets. See you on our next edition. I'm Samara Garcia, and this is RCN News in English, bringing Colombia to the world.
Ay, mi Dios, todito te debo. Ay, mi Dios, la dicha te debo. Ay, Señor, ven.